Hello YouTube, here we are. I've bought myself a GoPro, a Hero 6 Black to be specific, and we're in northern Zambia. We are about 5 kilometers from the border between Zambia and the DRC, and we're going to be riding south that way back home. I've done a bit of a loop today. I've done 90 or so kilometers, been out for 2.5 hours, and I'm on half a tank of fuel. I've got about 40 k's left to get home. Should take me around about an hour, all things going well. So welcome to Quad Vlog 001. Hope to do a few more of these. I'm going to apologise in advance because I know that this one is probably going to be pretty rubbish. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to learn a lot about how to do these things properly. So, gloves on, helmet on, goggles on, bike on, and off we go. Along, you'll see places like this where the bush has been cleared and the land has been tilled into these ridges and furrows. We're just getting to the end of the dry season now. Today is the 22nd of September. The rains will be coming next month. They put the land prep ready so that they can plant maize. It's all done by hand, very little mechanical machinery. Before they till the land to make space to plant, you can see that they burnt the trees, slashed the trees down. They burn it and they make charcoal. Charcoal's the first crop that most people get to harvest. I hope that you can hear me over the noise of the bike. I'm not sure how this microphone on this GoPro is going to work. I've got it clipped to a helmet mount on the face guard of my motocross helmet. It's in its normal little protective case that it comes with. I'm hoping that the microphone's not picking up too much wind noise. And then you see areas like this here. This was cleared. They've had 2 or 3 crops out of here, charcoal being the first one, and then maybe maize for a couple of years, cabbage or rape or spinach or something like that. And then the land pretty much worthless after that. They don't use fertilizer, and this soil and the lack of water here, the soil gets very hard, as you can see on the road, this hard baked clay. So growing things can be quite a challenge. So they leave it to grow back. It just goes back to its natural original state. It takes many years. Some of these trees have been growing for a good 40 or 50 years, these lovely hardwoods. They get slashed down in an instant, turned into charcoal. Which is a real shame. We're about 50 or 60 kilometers from the main town, Solwezi. So, a large population there, and the dominant source of fuel for cooking, and the dominant source of fuel for warmth in the winter is charcoal. I know that some people in Europe or the Northern Hemisphere, North America, would laugh when you say it gets cold here, but at night temperatures can drop to 4, 5, 6 degrees centigrade. And when you live in a house that's not designed with central heating, not designed with insulation, you really do start to feel it. Even though it's not snow or in the minus figures, as some people might be used to when they would consider it to be cold. I think the scale of cold is relative. Here we go. There's a farmer out here, his little house, storeroom in his house, and his little boma, thatch roof boma, and outside there's his bags of charcoal he's going to take to market when he's ready to go. Here you see the soil's a bit more brown. a little bit more fertile, not so red. So there's a much larger set of fields here that have been cleared all the way across, way over there. So it's probably 200 meters wide, around 500 meters long. 2 or 3 families living in this area. Dominantly in this part of the world, or this part of Zambia I should say, is this kind of arable farming, subsistence level arable farming, stock keeping, pastoral farming, cattle, pigs, those sorts of things. This is very popular up here. There's not a lot of it at all. The central portion of Zambia has a lot more cattle farming. Pretty much everyone keeps chickens. They're easy to deal with. Just let them run around. If you can catch it, you can eat it. I think it's a philosophy really. And as for the indigenous game species that are out in the naturally found out here, there's very little left. Bird life's pretty good. A few snakes, small vermin creatures, rodents and those sorts of things. But antelopes and zebras and giraffes and those things that people typically associate with Africa, you don't find them here anymore. Particularly the antelope, they've all been eaten. You've got to say poached is a very careful word to use, because in some cases poaching is rife, but the game is not protected. It's only considered poaching if you're stealing it from an area where it's actually protected. Out here in this sort of rural area, we're away from the game park, we're away from the game management area. So the reality is that the game here is just free. People have a right to feed themselves. They can hunt it. So over the last, I don't know, hundreds of years I guess, but certainly in the last 40 or 50 years, when the population of this area has increased quite rapidly, game population here has died down, reduced drastically. Of course, if I was to be able to go further into the bush, much deeper, we might still find some. But the rule of the bush here is if there's a road, there's people, there's houses, and therefore there's unlikely to be any wildlife. Oh, this is interesting. There's a brick kiln. So the guys dig up this red soily mud, and they make bricks, they pile them up. In those little holes under there, they put logs. Set fire to the logs, and it bakes the bricks. That's how they get fire bricks to build with. These are all here, these have all been prepared, ready, they're drying in the sun so they don't crack in the kiln. Try and get the most of the moisture out with the sun. And then the heat just sorts out the chemical reaction that converts the clay into hard ceramic. It's very important to use very clean clay, so they tend to dig the ant hills. Ant hill here has been dug out. The reason being that the ants have churned out all the rubbish and you've just got this very fine sticky clay left. Very little sand or silica in it. It makes for a better brick. Entering back into the proper bush now. And this little access track is just a connecting communities. But people don't venture too far from their houses. The sort of distance that you can go in a day on a bicycle or half a day walking. So every so often we'll see a little settlement popping up where there's a couple of families are living. It's interspersed with this thick forested areas. In a few months' time, when the wet season starts, I'm going to be coming down this track again. You'll see the difference. Everything is overgrown, rapidly overgrown. As soon as the rain comes, it just starts going like hell. And then you need your brush guard. That's why I've got the brush guard and the enduro skid plates on this bike. So you've got to start pushing stuff out of the way and forging a path for yourself. This becomes nothing more than a narrow little single track footpath or bicycle path. I don't have a gimbal, can't afford one right now. Put it on my Christmas list. See how kind my wife is. I'm hoping that the image is not too shaky. It's quite bumpy down here. I'm trying to keep my head still and soak up the bumps with my legs. The issue with things like gimbals is you've got to power them. Whilst there is power on the bike, connections is going to make it reduce the dust proofing and waterproofing. Not really sure how long it's going to last. They're quite expensive. I mean, a couple of $100 for a relatively basic one, going up into the $400, $500, $600 for a decent one. They don't seem to be making these things, gimbals and camera mounts, where you can plug them in and power them from a power source on your ATV or your side-by-side or your snowmobile, and make them waterproof and dustproof and give them some kind of damage protection. Done quite a lot of research. Seems to me like it's a bit of a gap in the market at the moment. Anyway, we'll see. Excuse my language there, sorry. My apologies. That came up on me a bit fast. Woo. Gentlemen. Alright. Here we go, heading downhill now into the river valley. At the bottom there's a rickety old log bridge we're going to have to cross. lovely with the shade. It's much cooler under the trees here. It's around 30 degrees at the moment. The humidity is building, it's pretty unbearable. When I say degrees, I'm talking centigrade. This is a maize mill. Little diesel generator there, or diesel motor I should say, running a conveyor belt. Maize stalks go in the top. It grinds up and it comes out as a sort of a flour, ground maize flour. Call it mealie meal, and it's used to make nshima, which is the staple sort of starch carbohydrate. Some kids are very confused, don't know what to make of me. Shame. Hello. Big smiles, everyone's happy. Yeah, so all those maize fields we've seen, they're all going to be ground up in this little mill here, and the guy will be charging people. Farmers will bring their stuff in. You see behind here we've got cassava growing, which is another staple starch that these guys have. There's a truck. Everyone's so friendly. It's a wonderful place to be. So there's a subsistence level, and then guys who are just above that have been able to invest their little profits along the way and set themselves up with additional sources of income, like that little grinding mill. So he'll be able to do his own stuff, grind cassava and maize, and he'll be able to charge his friends a small fee to do it for them as well. Then all of the food gets taken into town and sold. The economic cycle continues. It's bumpy through here. Here's some winter maize. Hasn't done very well. Been harvested, taken the cobs off. Couple of pretty bad looking ones here. Not enough water, too far from the river. Soil's not great. Long grass, come round a corner, there's a kid on a bicycle or something. last thing we want to do is have an accident. Oh. Riding through somebody's little village, people sitting around. They've seen me a few times now, come through here on this particular track. 4 or 5 times, I guess, this year. It's a relatively new track for me. I've been riding around this part of Zambia for nearly 11 years. Although on this particular bike only for about 18 months. But this bridge down here never existed before, and you could never cross. It was built a couple of years ago. And so I came down here and I had a look. It's an extremely deep little stream and it's quite fast flowing. As I said, the source of this river is about 4 or 5 kilometers up there, and it marks the watershed between the Zambezi and the Congo rivers, and that watershed also marks the political boundary between Zambia and the DRC. So this river flows south, eventually joining with the Kafue, and the Kafue joins with the Zambezi south of Kariba Dam. Notice here that they're growing, I think it's some sort of traditional vegetable, maybe some sort of rape or kale type derivative, in the nice rich black muddy soils close to the river where it grows very well. Put himself a little irrigation pond there and just scoop the water out by bucket and keep it nicely irrigated. Right, across the rickety bridge we go, fingers crossed. Oh, it's dicey. Let's hope in the wet season that doesn't get washed away. So up the other side and onward. Oh, it's beautiful out here. So peaceful. So much space. People are so friendly. Real freedom to enjoy yourself. Going in the right direction to blow the bull dust away from you behind. mud, which is my namesake. I have a tendency to fall off when I hit the stuff, hence why I dislike it so much. Out for a ride a few years ago with a friend of mine, and I fell off within about the first 5 minutes, really hurt myself. So his comment was red mud 1, you 0. Red mud rather stuck after that. It was a bit of a joke amongst everyone. So I thought, why not embrace it? It can become a YouTube channel. You still have to observe good road discipline. People do come flying along here and pick up trucks, and even little Toyota Corollas, you'd be amazed. And they think because they're not on the tar road, they don't have to drive with the usual rules of the road. It becomes very fraught with danger. Right, here we are. So this morning I actually went this way down there, so I've completed a loop now, and the final 15 kilometers back to my house. So we're definitely on the home stretch. Oh, chains off. Bicycles are the juggernauts of Africa. It's amazing what these guys can shift on them. They cover huge distances carrying 8 or 10 sacks of charcoal. I even saw a guy with a sofa on the back of one once, pushing it along the road. Absolutely amazing. Are really knocking out the noise. I hope that you can hear me over that. Might have to invest in a microphone, a dictaphone or something, and do a voiceover. Like I said at the start, this is quad vlog number 1, so we'll learn a lot. Oh, I'm gonna miss my turn. There we go. Brakes on this thing are brilliant. The security fence here is the mine, the other side is Kinsanchi mine. We're heading south now back towards Solwezi. Here we are, ladies and gents, home sweet home, Kinsanchi Golf Estate, 122.2 kilometres, 3 hours 15 minutes total riding. Pretty exhausted. I sincerely hope that this video has been good enough quality to post, and like and subscribe, and I hope that you enjoy watching it, and do a few more of these in the coming weeks and months. So until then, please take care of yourselves, and I hope to see you again soon.